back to another video. Samsung HVAC. We're putting the spotlight on this split heat pump. This is a multi-position air handler and the compatible outdoor unit. Today we're answering a question from a viewer. Thank you for your question. Lewis asked about the defrost and the heat output during the cold winter months. I want to explain to you the features and benefits of this equipment. I'm going to give you a close-up view, show you how it's designed, but let's talk about the questions first, and then I'm going to talk about how homeowners, you can save money with equipment like this, increase your efficiency, your comfort, and you can save space because this outdoor unit is quite versatile when it comes to the piping connections, operating temperatures. I think you're going to be impressed. By the end of the video, you're going to learn something and you're going to be able to say, hey, technology like this exists. I should get this for my home. Let's definitely dive in. So question number one was defrost. What do you experience with this type of equipment during defrost? Now, first I want to say that there's a snow prevention mode, and this outdoor unit is not going to let snow set on the idle outdoor unit. It's going to be able to prevent that with snow prevention mode. So I think that's something that's really cool, sets this equipment apart from conventional equipment. Second thing I want to say is auxiliary heat strips. Heat strips are very inefficient, but when you need to hit a balance point, when it gets really cold outside and the load of your structure basically exceeds the capacity of the outdoor equipment, with conventional, you have to have heat strips. So your heat pump may take a 30 amp breaker, but your heat strips would take a 60 amp breaker. So they're very, very inefficient. You don't want to use heat strips. And in this equipment, I only have to have heat strips as a backup emergency, strictly emergency, because this equipment will actually work down, the operating temperatures exceed that of the conventional. You can work in 0-degree weather and still be somewhat efficient compared to the conventional where you can't gain heat from the outside air. So that's one thing I'd like to say about this equipment. It's fantastic when it comes to operating temperatures in the heating mode during the cold winter months. Now, if you go below -4, then you're going to derate, you're going to lose efficiency. But when you're in a mild climate, this equipment is really, really efficient and it's going to save you money. So we're producing really, really good heat. Now let's talk about defrost. Defrost lasts around 12 minutes, depending on the accumulation of ice, outdoor ambient conditions. And during those 12 minutes, your evaporator fan motor, this constant torque, high efficiency fan motor right here, is going to idle. It's not going to blow through the duct and just cause a cold draft. What it's going to do is it's going to idle. And it's measuring the temperature, because you've got sensors on your evaporator, your inlet outlet sensor are going to measure temperature, and they're going to reach a target of around 99 degrees. So it's not like conventional equipment where you have to turn on your heat strips during your defrost or you're blowing a cold draft into your home when you're defrosting. No, you have an evaporator fan that's idling. It's not blowing in through the ducts. You're not getting a cold draft, and you're reaching 99-degree temperature, and then you're releasing the fan. So not only does it blow warmer heat than a conventional heat pump, but it also doesn't blow cold draft. These are functions that are built into the unit, just like the 3-minute time delay, just like the auto restart. If you have a power outage, it's going to auto restart. These are things that I love about Samsung. And the defrost is not inefficient. It's not, hey, we turn on heat strips, now we're using more power than our heat pump used ×2. We don't want that. And 99-degree heat, let me tell you something, that your thermostat can say that your home is 70 degrees, and during the winter time, if you have a conventional equipment and you turn that heat pump on, it's having to get warm, right? But you're having to feel it get warm, and it's not warm and coming out of the vents. It takes, what, 15 minutes? You know, maybe 20 minutes for it to get up to temperature. This right here, the outdoor unit, during the heating operation, you hit the heat mode, the outdoor unit comes on, but the indoor unit stays idle. It doesn't come on. It doesn't blow cold air through your home. It waits until that 99-degree temperature is set, the target temperature is reached, and then it opens the indoor fan. So no cold draft even during startup. Now during cooling mode, the outdoor unit is actually going to wait the 3 minutes, and then it'll come on. The indoor fan blows, but during heating, it's the opposite. The indoor fan does not come on, the outdoor unit comes on, and then it begins to build heat. Okay, so I think that is super efficient. especially when it's really, really cold outside. You don't need cold drafts in your home. You need good warm heat. If you're blowing 20-degree warmer air in your conventional unit and you put your hand over the vent at 70 degrees in your home, you turn your conventional heat pump on, it takes 15 minutes, then you feel the vent and it's only 90 degrees, it's not gonna feel warm. Our body temperature is 98, so it's not gonna feel warm. So this right here, 99 degrees, boom, that's gonna feel warm. It's gonna feel comfortable. That's what you want. All right, let's talk about some other features like the wired controller and option settings, like choosing the indoor sensor on this equipment instead of choosing the wired controller's location. So you have a thermostat in your home and you can choose that as your set temperature. Your thermistor in there controls when it reaches temperature where that thermostat is, then it'll shut the unit off. No. I've had customers tell me at nighttime, Tad, it gets a little colder than I want. I'd like to keep it a little hotter. Can we do that? I go by their home. I change a little option setting on the wired controller, which I've got a video about that. If you guys want to check that out, check out Tips for Technicians. I change a little option setting. I'm able to choose the indoor sensor. So the air pulling across that coil, it's going to choose that sensor. So you're keeping that unit warmer. You're keeping that duct warmer. I think it's geared towards folks that are a little bit older in age. I've seen this in the field more often, and it's just good having that option. I'm able to give that customer more comfort because I have this equipment. So Samsung always coming through for me with good equipment, efficiency, and design. We're gonna get up close here in a minute. Hopefully I've answered those 2 questions for you, Lewis. I really appreciate those questions. If you guys have comments, questions, leave them below. I wanna educate and help you understand that this technology right here exists, and there are dealers, contractors that are able, that are trained, that are qualified to install. And how do you find those? You go on SamsungHVAC.com. They have a dealer locator on there. I'm on there. I'm part of the preferred network, so I'm able to offer more warranty. I have better support, and Samsung has been able to grow over the years. Now I get faster support, and that's what I like. I like a company that is not just failing in their R&D and really they don't have any innovation. They're going up, up, up. I believe Samsung is really innovating, and I think that they offer something nobody else offers. So let's talk about some other features we have. We have snow prevention mode. We have better defrost. We have auxiliary heat strips that we don't use. We don't have to have that balance point. We can operate at temperatures that are really, really cold in the cooling operation as well as the heating. All right, so let's also talk about pipe connections. I have the option now with this equipment to take my indoor and outdoor unit and separate them up to 246 feet. So I can have my indoor unit on the other side of my house and the outdoor unit on the other side, and I have more of a pipe connection length. Then I have maximum vertical separation of 98 feet for this. So it just gives me more flexibility with the installation. That's something I like. I like the option of not only having the ability to do a data management server, building management system integrated with this, but I can use an app on my phone to control this equipment. Take a close-up look at the equipment and then talk about all the components. This right here is your 2 plugs that lead to your 2 outdoor fans. This is BLDC, brushless DC fan motors, and they are basically driven by this inverter board. This inverter board also has a 3-wire plug that leads to the twin BLDC inverter-driven rotary compressor. This compressor has the ability to modulate, to change frequency. Then we have our power input. We have our power for our outdoor unit, and then this is the power that leads to the indoor unit. So our outdoor unit powers the indoor. This is the F1 and F2, which is your communication. We'll look at the indoor unit here in a minute. I want to talk about the EEPROM. The EEPROM is your removable data here. This is a removable EEPROM, stores all your data. You've got your overload protection. You have logic that protects your compressor. Built in, you have the ability to maintain your discharge temperature. You have overload protection for your compressor. And let's talk about the indoor unit now. The indoor unit has its main PCB, PBA, and we have a removable EEPROM here. We also have our terminal block where we have our F1 and F2 communication from the indoor and outdoor unit. F3 and F4 communication to our wired controller, our thermostat. Now we have a high efficiency, constant torque, motor. This indoor motor has adjustable taps for the speed, 1 through 5, low to high, so we can get the airflow that we need just by changing a speed tap to match the static. So, all right, let's get a close-up, a really close-up view. And if you guys have any more questions, I'm here to answer your questions. I want to answer your questions. Let's turn it back around and I'll talk just a little bit more. Max overcurrent protection. The breaker size that you need for this equipment is a double pole 35 amp breaker. That is all. To power this equipment, 35 amp breaker. Minimum circuit amps is 26 amps. So very minimal, especially compared to a heat pump that needs a 30 amp just for the heat pump and then a 60 amp for the heat strips. So that's a really, really big reduction in the amount of breaker size and power required to power a heat pump. Operating temperatures are way better, piping connections way better, wind baffles offered as an accessory so that you can have an even colder temperature outdoors that you can operate in the cooling operation. The outdoor unit can be mounted up on a bracket off of the ground so that throughout the life of the equipment, you have less maintenance. And that's something I like as an option. You can also mount it on the ground, but having the flexibility to mount it up on a bracket can make your install maybe easier and also make your maintenance less. If you haven't hit the like button, please hit the like button. I need those likes. I need you to share, hit the notification button. It gives me the ability to make more content, and that's what I want to do. As a homeowner, if you're watching this, I want you to know that if the cost between conventional and high efficiency is not very much, $1,000, $2,000, please make the move towards the high efficiency. Get an installer that is professional and they're trained to be able to install Samsung, and I promise you that you will benefit and it will pay for itself in the long run. Most customers that choose to go with this equipment over conventional always benefit, and they always tell me later on down the road, not only is it quieter, but it's more efficient, I've saved a lot of money, and it's more comfortable. And I like hearing that, and that's why I take the time to offer Samsung as my preferred choice in the field to homeowners that need efficient equipment to be able to save on their electric bill. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and remember that if you're going to get a heat pump, you need one that actually blows out good heat. And Samsung does that. They've been able to make a really nice piece of equipment that will increase both the comfort and the efficiency. If you're a technician in the field and you want to learn more about HVAC, check out my playlist, Tips for Technicians. If you're a homeowner and you want to learn more about how to save money with your air conditioning system, or how to figure out if it's working, or learn about new technology, check out my playlist, Tips for Homeowners. I'm Tad, and I'll keep you cool if you let me.